Wei Yan, I cannot trust you completely.
Wei Yan, you must not go off alone. I knew it. I knew he would rebel against us.
Wei Yan, although our Lord trusts you, I have a bad feeling about you.
Ah, it's the man of few words. You are brave.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Nightowl channel, and welcome back to the series where we're counting down the top Dynasty Warriors characters as of the latest game. Coming in at number 51, we have Wei Yan. Wei Yan is one of the generals who served under Liu Bei since the start of his military career. He swore complete loyalty to Liu Bei and continued to serve Shu after his lord's death. Although he was initially trusted by the Prime Minister, he became infamous for earning Zhuge Liang's ire and was killed by Ma Dai due to arguably false charges of defection. Which is so ironic because in Dynasty Warriors 9 they have his cutscene, his ending, revolving around Ma Dai coming up to him and telling him that he'll always be by his side.
From now on, I will always remain here by your side.
I guess they meant that literally. Even after his death, his defense plans of Hanzhong were still implemented and were successful in driving out Wei many times. Romance of the Three Kingdoms instead portrays him as an outright villainous character with a violent betrayal streak, most likely out of Zhuge Liang's historical bias towards him. Before we jump into how Wei Yan has changed over the past few games, let's take a look at the popularity poll to see why Wei Yan is down here at number 51. In the first popularity poll, Wei Yan receives 595 votes out of a total of 75,000, ordering to put him at the 53rd spot. In the second popularity poll, Wei Yan drops all the way down to the 72nd spot. And in my personal rankings, Wei Yan is the highest character that we've done so far. He's all the way up at number 22 for me. And the reason is pretty simple. I just really like Wei Yan's weapon style. And we'll talk more about it once we get into his weapon style and stuff like that. But his weapon style is the main draw for the character for me. And that's why he's so high up for me, because I've always enjoyed his weapon style and the way he fights. Before we jump into his changes and why I like his weapon style so much, let's talk about who Wei Yan is for people who don't know. The most notable characteristic in Wei Yan is his speech impairment. He's only able to grunt the most simple of words into phrases, and though he seems a very barbaric and wild beast, he's actually a very kind-hearted person, and all he wants to do is prove his worth to those who doubt him, especially like someone like Zhuge Liang, like I mentioned in the beginning. Zhuge Liang and Wei Yan have a sort of like disdain towards each other. Nothing too crazy to where it involves like Wei Yan killing people, and it's like, you know, he's as villainous as the game, you know, maybe portrays him as, but just that disdain where Zhuge Liang maybe just doesn't trust him. They have a very, it's evident throughout most of the games. There is a little bit of disdain between them. And when I get to the relationships, we'll talk a little bit more about that. But regardless of his relationship with Zhuge Liang, Wei Yan is still generally willing to take orders from the strategists because he believes that Zhuge Liang is the one who can make their late lord's wishes come true. Wei Yan was very moved by Liu Bei's virtue and benevolence, and that's why he originally joined the Shu Kingdom, because of Liu Bei's faith in him as a person, and he really admired that. And that's why he joined Shu, and he had such fearsome loyalty towards Liu because of Liu Bei's original dream and vision. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into how Wei Yan has changed since his playable debut back in Dynasty Warriors 3. And we're going to start off with his weapon style, because the weapon style is what sticks out the most for me, and that's what makes him a likable character to me and one of my favorites. Wei Yan uses two different weapons within the series, but only in Dynasty Warriors 6 he gets a different weapon. In every other installment, he uses the double-bladed Vulge. Double-bladed Vulge is his main weapon, and it's one of the most fun weapons for me to use personally, because I just like the weapon style. I like the Musou attacks that are come with it, and it's just a very fun weapon style to use. His weapon that he used in Dynasty Warriors 6, which was the only game he had a different weapon, because he got cloned with a lot of other people, which was the mace. It was a terrible weapon. I did not like it. Exact same style as Huang Gai and Zhu, who we've already covered on the channel and stuff like that. But the double-bladed Vulge, revisiting that Musou attacks. The Musou attacks in Dynasty Warriors, I believe 8. I want to say Dynasty Warriors 7 or Dynasty Warriors 8. It is by far one of the coldest and coolest Musou attacks in the game. And that's what really drew me to him, because of that weapon style. And his EX attacks are really cool, imbued with lightning. I've always been drawn to that kind of style, and Wei Yan really is one of those characters that maybe I don't play him first or second, but he's probably among the top, 5 or 6 characters I play among the Shu Kingdom right away, especially if he has that weapon, because that weapon is just super fun to play as, and it's just a lot of fun. Now, his main Musou, and I believe both Dynasty Warriors 9 and maybe 7 and 8, I don't like it because it's kind of hard to control. You kind of just like flip out and you attack in a line and then you end up like 5 feet away from the target you're trying to hit. But the second Musou where you're on the ground and all the lightning comes up and it's just a whirlpool of lightning and damage, it's super fun. And I've always enjoyed using Wei Yan because of that. Even in the earlier games, yeah, when he had his, normal-ish Musou and his normal-ish moveset, it was always fun. It always made the game easier to play because of his weapon style, and I always enjoyed it, and that's why Wei Yan's so high up for me. His personality, I don't have anything against it, but it's not the reason why he's so high for me. And who he is or what he looks like didn't really bother me. I always thought the mask looked really cool as a kid. When I played him, I was like, oh, that guy looks really cool. He's got a mask on. He's got, like, light armor on, and he spins around. He's like the Dynasty Warriors version of the Tasmanian Devil. Really enjoyed playing him as a kid, and I still enjoy playing him now when he has the double-bladed Vold. Moving on to his appearance, Wei Yan's appearance remains relatively the same. He's got the mask on, and he's got that light armor kind of barbaric tribal look throughout most of the games, except for maybe Dynasty Warriors 6. Still following the theme of the tribal barbaric look, I just didn't like it as much as some of the other ones. I think Dynasty Warriors 6, in terms of Wei Yan, was the worst for him as a character, but not much to complain about there. I thought his appearance was just fine. I can't complain too much. I always thought he looked kind of cool, and he was always one of the characters I was drawn to because of the way he looked and the way he fought. Now, moving on to his voice acting, again, the most notable characteristic of Wei Yan is his speech impairment.
Bridge destroyed. I, Liu Bei, will your dream fulfill.
He is unable to talk in a cohesive manner. It's a very choppy kind of... He's kind of like the mix between like the Hulk and Yoda. So if you take like the Hulk and Yoda and put them together, you kind of get Wei Yan's voice style. His voice acting in each game is slightly different, I guess. I mean, I think he has the same one for like 3 through like 6 or... some of the people change up and stuff like that. But there's not really much of a difference because his voice style, I believe, is easy to copy. It's just a deep voice where he stutters and, he kind of just buffers through his words and he gets his point across as clearly as he can. It's very noticeable. He's one of those characters that definitely stick out. And if you play the game for a while, you'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that guy because the way he talks. He's got a very coarse voice, but again, even with that barbaric look and sound, he still has a very kind heart and he's very caring to those he works with. And, he wants to show that he's there to help them and prove his worth as a companion on the battlefield. But voice acting is not too much to complain about. You can really tell the difference in Dynasty Warriors 9 versus some of the earlier games. But again, it's not very difficult to mimic that sound that he, the voice that he does. So I can't really complain about it. He sounds relatively good in all the games. So, all right, now let's talk about his significant battles, his relationships, and his death. His significant battles, he's had a lot of battles within the Shu Kingdom. Nothing crazy significant to where it stood out like this is Wei Yan's moment. I can't really think of anything. Maybe the Battle of the Wujiang Plains, because again, going back to Dynasty Warriors 6, and I guess we can talk about the relationship with Zhuge Liang as well. He's actually one of the targets for that battle, which is to make sure he doesn't like get killed. And that's really that's the only game where that really happens. I didn't really see any other games where it was honed in on Wei Yan doing something or betraying the Shu Kingdom, stuff like that. Maybe in a hypothetical or so, I don't really remember. But I just know in Dynasty Warriors, that was the only game where Wei Yan kind of really played a role in a battle. He played in a lot of battles in the Shu Kingdom, and he didn't play a super significant role, but he was one of the main generals for the Shu Kingdom. He was there, he was helping, and that's pretty much it for his battles. Moving on to his relationship, let's go ahead and start off with Zhuge Liang. So this relationship wasn't a very, I wouldn't say super negative, but it wasn't positive either. Definitely more of an antagonistic relationship with him than anything else, but regardless of that, like I said in the beginning, he still took his orders because even after, Liu Bei passed away, he still believed that Zhuge Liang, was still, he was doing everything he could for Liu Bei's dream, the dream of benevolence and the vision of peace and everything like that. So he still believed that Zhuge Liang had the ability to do that. So he went along with his strategies in order to make that happen. But Zhuge Liang's relationship with Wei Yan is definitely strained. In some of the games, like I believe in Dynasty Warriors 5, before some of the missions, I believe Zhuge Liang actually blatantly says, I don't trust you. So, that's not something you want to hear as an officer underneath somebody. But he said that, and eventually the story of Wei Yan is that you grow into a point where you earn that trust. And that's really what Wei Yan's all about, just earning the merit, proving himself as someone capable of carrying out whatever it is that he needs to do. And that's really what his story revolves around. And there's other couple relationships, like again, with Liu Bei, of course, because he's got that, Dai, you know, it's kind of like an intense passion for Liu Bei as a ruler. So, you know, nothing too crazy to where he's like coming on strong or always talking to him or anything like that. But definitely you can see it on the battlefield. You can definitely see it, of course, when he passes away. And again, he's not a man of many words, but when Liu Bei passes away, Wei Yan's very heartbroken, and you know he's very, you know, he's sad, and it definitely affects him to a certain degree. Even with Zhuge Liang, he was actually still upset that Zhuge Liang was, you know, passed away, because again, even though they had that strained relationship, he still believed that Zhuge Liang was able to make Liu Bei's dreams come true. But the last relationship that Wei Yan has, he has the small relationships with some of the other officers, of course, stuff like that. But the other main one, I would say, you know, maybe is Ma Dai. And his relationship with Ma Dai portrays a silent general as a sympathetic person. At times, Ma Dai is unable to understand Wei Yan's sudden actions, which is evident in a couple cutscenes. He's like caught off guard when Wei Yan, you know, outbursts when he talks and stuff like that. But Wei Yan feels more reassured thanks to Ma Dai's trust. Ironically, and this goes into his death, ironically, Ma Dai is the one who's responsible for killing Wei Yan due to false allegations of treason, which is kind of sad, and it's just weird with the ending in, you know, Dynasty Warriors 9, due to the fact that that's what's going to happen. The irony behind, I'm going to stay there by your side, literally to the very end, even if he's the one killing him off of, you know, rumors and stuff like that. Because after Zhuge Liang passes away, Zhuge Liang told, I believe it was Jiang Wei or someone named Yang Yi, he told somebody, like, if Wei Yan looks like he's stepping out of line or becoming a nuisance or trouble or something of that nature, to, you know, kill him. So, you know, something of like that happened. I think Wei Yan was like going too far ahead or something, and he was accused of treason. Ma Dai was sent to kill him, and that's exactly what happened. So it's a little tragic with Wei Yan's story. Unfortunately, he dies from someone that the game portrays that he has trust in and stuff like that. So the games never show that or discuss it. So it's not in any of the games. That's more of a historical thing that revolves just around Wei Yan, but the games never show it. But it is kind of interesting to see that they, you know, they have Ma Dai there. They have that relationship with each other. He's the one that ends up killing him eventually, due to these allegations. But that's all I really have for Wei Yan here. Again, 22nd for me. I've always enjoyed his weapon style, the way he fights. I've always enjoyed the the two-handed weapons have been a lot of fun for me. So, you know, that weapon was always a lot of fun to play as. And I always got around to playing Wei Yan at some point with the Shu Kingdom and stuff like that. He was one of the you know, first 4 or 5, maybe 6 characters that I used in the Shu Kingdom, because I always enjoyed the weapon style. It was a lot of fun, and don't have anything to really complain about Wei Yan. He's definitely a character I look forward to playing with because of the lightning affinity that he has that the game gives him. And then, of course, you know, I like the way he looks. I love the mask. I love the tribal look, and, you know, some of the bones sticking out or whatever it is. You know, whatever their design for Wei Yan is, it's always relatively looking pretty cool. So his personality is fine. His voice acting, again, he's the only character in the game that really has that impairment. So it really makes him stick out and stuff like that. It's nothing that makes me want to play him more, but just the weapon style alone and the way he looks is the key factors for me for playing him. But that's all I really have for Wei Yan here. We're going to be going into number 50 here really soon. I'm really excited. We're getting towards the top of the list. Hope you guys are enjoying the series. If you are, definitely appreciate a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you guys use Wei Yan, if you guys think he's cool like I do, if you like his weapon style. I've always enjoyed it, like I said. That's all I have for the video, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, everyone.